Brought to you by ESL's Hearthstone Legendary Series. We're getting ready for our second match of the King of the Hill here with Alchemixt versus Koyuki. Alchemixt is a player that we haven't seen since the very beginning of the Legendary Series, but we didn't have him for Goblins versus Gnome release, and he didn't really get to show much of his deck building. He was like, hey, I really want to try out some cool stuff, and I think we're going to see it. We have Hunter, Warlock, Warrior versus Rogue, Paladin, and Warrior. What do you think about that, TJ?
Rogue, once again, I think is a really strong choice. So I think Koyuki might have a little bit of advantage, but we've yet to see Warlock yet. So Warlock can do some funky things. Warlock is a class that has some pretty versatile decks already, so I'm not sure how Alchemixt is going to fit that in. Alchemixt, of course, he is also one of the highest rated players as far as like the ESL Open Challenger Cups on Sunday.
That's right. He was opening a lot of the NESL Cups, right, back in the day.
Yeah. So I think him and Hosty, who I think were used to be ex-teammates, they are both really high up in the total point standings for the ESL Open Cup. So you know that both those guys are really great tournament
Talking
players.
about like back on DKMR days.
Yep.
Man, that was so long ago.
Yeah, that was back in the actual ESL King of the Hill days, where ESL got its start in Hearthstone, where I got my start in Hearthstone casting, and so, sometimes I miss those days because everything was less salty, I think, back then.
Oh, you like it less salty?
Oh yeah,
I think there's not enough salt, to be honest.
of course.
I want to see more personality and losses from these players, but we'll see. Let's go into our first game, Warrior versus Rogue. And right off the bat, we see some pretty applicable uses of Brewmaster with Big Game Hunter and Black Knight available. Not sure if Koyuki chooses to save them at all, but Big Game Hunter definitely one of the more important cards against Warrior for sure. Not to mention Sabotage, destroy the card and the weapon.
It's pretty big against Warrior.
Super clutch.
And of course, Koyuki opened up with the Rogue, so he's got momentum on his side. Well, it's on a long break, and so momentum can play a big factor in because you get a feel for how the deck is playing, and since these guys, I'm sure, haven't practiced with these variations of the deck as much, because I'm not sure how ladder friendly they'd actually be.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good point.
Koyuki is starting to get a feel for the types of combos that he can make, and it can be a tough card to play with, because I said before, it can sometimes be a liability to have it in your hand. So you want to get it out early.
Sure.
You just want to get rid of them.
I mean, it's a liability in the sense that you don't sometimes want to play it because it destroys your own board momentum, but it gives a lot of utility and card advantage, especially with Big Game Hunters and Black Knights and the sorts. Koyuki going to work on that armor, trying to see if he can chip it off a little bit. Of course, Alchemixt didn't want to play the Acolyte just to get sniped by that Brewmaster, so he's going to wait on turn 5 to drop it, then use the second bite of charge of Death Bite, get that Whirlwind effect, draw a card, and maybe even pick up something nice for the following turns. Now, as Koyuki, it's like, well, I don't want to drop my Vile Teacher now. I don't want to drop anything.
I would be inclined to actually drop the SI Agent here.
Well, yeah, but anything you drop just gets killed. So
Oh,
it's like one
yeah,
of those things
that's
where you're like, well, that weapon naturally 2-for-1 you. That's just pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
And of course, it's going to draw a card off the Acolyte, so it's very effective.
But you can't really afford to play around it much because you have to get that second charge out at some time. Because the Despite does just so well against anything you're going to lay. Azure Drake, Vile Teacher, both cards that you really want to stick. Maybe Azure Drake not so much since you're getting the Battle Cry effect off of it.
Sure.
But you can't really afford to just keep that Despite there and just hope that he attacks into your face before you play into that.
Oh, man, I haven't seen a Golden Iron Juggernaut. That thing is sick.
We got another Magic Amy on our hands. Alchemix looks like it's got a collection full of gold, and don't get to see him with the coin this turn, so we can't see if everything is, but I'm sure it is.
Alchemist told me that his first golden hero ever was Warrior, even though he's known as a primarily aggro lover. Like
Mine too.
He loves He loves playing like face hunter and like super aggressive like shamans and like mages and stuff. But he loves also control warrior. It's like a really weird thing.
If I shaved, got a different haircut, and you took your glasses off, I might even look like Alchemixt.
You might look like Alchemist?
Yeah. We both play control warrior.
Oh,
we,
sorry, TJ. I'm really off my game right now.
We kind of look similar. Me and Alchemist might even be the same person. I might live vicariously through him during this game.
You're playing right now, streaming through a webcam on your phone. Get it. Wow. Well, that Acolyte picks up a Death Bite. That's pretty nice. I think he was originally thinking about dropping Iron Juggernaut instead, but having another weapon for removal against a deck that primarily has a lot of these mid-range health minions is very, very useful.
And you might just want to wait until turn 8 to play the Iron Juggernaut to be able to Youthful Brewmaster it right back.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier, it's a little bit of an idealistic scenario, but even just 2 mines in the deck, as long as you're able to just control the game.
You have
Yes,
Grommash
it
in
is.
hand and a Death Spite. Like, realistically, I mean, it just has to happen once for me to be like, this was a great idea, Frodan. Because everyone's like, you know, Frodan, I'm not sure, you know, having this deck building challenge, maybe it doesn't end up being that cool. It will be cool. This Iron Juggernaut is going to do some work.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee it to you now, but
he does have Death's Bite here to be able to deal with this board, because no matter what, next turn, maybe with the exception of like a Sludge Belcher or something being thrown out, he will be able to deal with it.
Yeah. Sludge Belcher would stop it, but doesn't have it.
So he's going to pave the way for a nice, clean Juggernaut Brewmaster combination.
I suppose you want to cycle then, unless you want to use your Sabotage to destroy the weapon, but Sabotage is so much better used as minion removal, like Ragnaros, if you don't have Big Game Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, it's essentially like a second Big Game Hunter or Assassinate.
He's thinking about it here, but I mean, he would use his whole turn. I'm assuming he would. Well, he might Novice Engineer here. He might want to Fan of Knives just because it doesn't have much use in this matchup to cycle.
Well,
but it would clear all his tokens in the process as well.
Yeah, that's the big problem. Like, if you use Sabotage, it also kills off any 1/1s you establish. Is it better just to cycle than with Novice Engineer? Just call it with I guess not. He values that 1/1 body.
Yeah.
It's also a combo enabler.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was going to say too.
All right,
here we go.
let's see it. This is what we've been waiting for.
On a clean board, there's like no better way to use this right now. Aww. Come on.
Do it. Okay, well, if he
Maybe-
doesn't do it, then if he Grommashes, it's just gonna get Big Game Huntered.
Yeah. Maybe he wants to wait until he has 2 combos, but he actually does. It would take him a turn. Oh, he might want to do it back-to-back. So next turn he'll Iron Juggernaut Youthful Brewmaster. Then the following turn he'll Iron Juggernaut Ancient Brewmaster.
Oh, I see. Keep a continuous
Or
stream.
if he doesn't deal with the Grommash this turn, he could just Youthful Brewmaster it. But BGH.
That's a good observation, TJ. I like how you framed it. It makes sense.
Because now he puts him at 18, so now once he gets those 2 Iron Juggernaut combos out, the only thing he has to do is control the game. He doesn't have to worry about dealing damage at all, unless the rogue has healing.
Well, he's got Ysera this turn, too.
Okay.
I feel like Ysera is a stronger play with a board like this. But then Sabotage can easily deal with this as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if... I wonder if Alchemix's line of play here ends up backfiring at all, but at the same time, it doesn't. You can't really say that Brewmasters were much better because it would have left 3 2s and 5 4s on the board versus 4 12s and 10 8s. I guess you can't argue.
Yeah.
Drink with me, friend.
Ooh.
Cute. Very cute. And scary for Alchemix.
Yeah, and well, he doesn't have the Youthful Brewmaster anymore, but the strong turn 10 play would be like a double 5 drop, which Sludge Belcher could seem that way. But it would just get Black Knighted. And if there was a second Youthful Brewmaster,
Well, I think he's gonna Fiery War Axe and then chop it down.
and bring it on back.
Please
Yeah,
do
buddy.
it. Please do it. I know it's tempting just to like armor
No!
up.
Alright, Alchemixt, you baby.
Okay, I get it. How much damage does Koyuki have? That's a lot. He's got 3 plus 6, 9, 10, 14 damage. No, 18 damage. Oh my gosh, he's really close to lethal.
Yes, he is.
Or is it 19? Because I forgot about the hero power base.
Yeah, well, he can actually... Oh, wow. Okay.
Because what happens is you would deadly poison, so that's 3. Tinker
6.
is 6 damage, so that's 9 plus the attack from the novice, that's 10. Eviscerate is 14, and then the weapon would be at 5, right? No, the weapon's at 6.
Weapon's at 6,
So
and the
that's-
novice engineer is at 4. So it would be 10 damage from that, 4 damage from the eviscerate,
20. It's 20.
20
damage.
damage.
He's 1 damage off lethal.
Wow. He might just go for it. And actually, if he does, well, if he does it over 2 turns, oh, he needs to Blade Flare here to get rid of the Iron Juggernaut.
Does he eviscerate?
It looks like, nope.
Because it'd be careless if he ended up having Alchemixt.
Mhm. He doesn't really have a way to deal with this novice engineer without just hitting it with his War Axe or blocking it with a Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, 2 Sludge Belchers might be his best course of action, but
Yep.
we know that there's also a Black Knight waiting.
Maybe he wants to Sludge Belcher Loatheb to reduce the likelihood that he has
True.
lethal.
If you Sludge Belcher Loatheb, would you Nightmare your Sludge? No, you can't, because it'll get BGH'd.
Yeah, you can. Well, you can hope that he draws a mine next turn. Then you can Nightmare your Loatheb for lethal the following turn.
It's just ridiculous.
I'm
That's
really
right, though. If he does draw the the mine, the burrowed mine, he might be able to kill him.
I'm really
if he places
disappointed
it
that he didn't Youthful Brewmaster the Iron Juggernaut. What is he planning on Youthful Brewmastering?
I don't
Loatheb?
know.
Sylvanus? Youthful Brewmaster his Ancient Brewmaster?
Oh, well, looks like we
Oh.
might have had connections issues for Alchemixt there, where he might have disconnected. Actually, that's pretty unfortunate.
Uh-oh.
Oh man. Well, that's too bad, because he could have barely survived, but it looks like Koyuki's just going to take the game. And he was really close anyways. That second Eviscerate, that means he would have died no matter what, I think. Unless he played Loatheb. So if he played Loatheb, he still had a chance to draw Alex Shirazu. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate here for him, but looks like Koyuki takes game number 1 here, unless the admins rule something otherwise. And with Warrior out of the way, we have Hunter and Warlock. Now, Warlock, nothing really jumps out to me. A lot of the battle cries for Zoo feel like it would be cool to have 2 Dark Iron Dwarfs, like 2 Defender of Argus, like plays back to back with a Beautiful Brewmaster, but that costs like 10 mana.
Abusive Sergeants could be pretty good.
That's true, Abusive Sergeants.
Flame Imps, on the other hand.
You don't ever want a Brewmaster or Flame Imp.
Nope.
Especially if you're in a race situation.
So if you get into a situation where you have an early draw where you get a turn 1 Flame Imp, and then your only turn 2 play is Brewmaster, doesn't work out.
What about if you play Doomguard, then next turn you get a Brewmaster?
Whoa.
And then you do that for 7 mana.
That would be 15 damage over the course of 2 turns.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's very
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that might be the thought process. I don't know about Handlock. Maybe Handlock would be cool too, because you have Antique Heal bots, you have Farseers,
It seems
you
like
have
though.
Defender of Argus. And stuff.
It seems like the deck. I don't know if it'd be that great. It seems like the Youthful Brewmaster and the Ancient Brewmaster would sit as dead cards in your hand for a long time.
I feel like that would be the case too.
Because what if you throw out like a giant? I guess it could be like a really weird way to
I guess
heal a
it's just
giant.
fodder for Mountain Giant to get big or to cost less, so that way you can put out big
Yeah,
threats.
I guess it could heal it too. Like if you trade in Youthful Brewmaster back and then
Yeah, I don't really see much application. Maybe it's a demon lock where he's just playing like a lot of demons that just have weird synergies with each other. I don't know. It's people have been experimenting a little bit with some demons in Warlock. Our Dark Wonks, of course, qualified for it, but I don't really think of anything that jumps out onto the screen for me.
Yeah, and once people know the deck, it's really hard to play again, or it's really hard to play the deck very competitively because uh, Zalay actually won as well with his
True.
variation of combo lock, and he made a guide for it as well. And he said a few days after he made that I can't even play this on ladder anymore because people know the deck, they've seen it. It just doesn't have much success at the higher levels because people just play around it. And if the deck relies on having that combo as its main win condition, sometimes it's just unplayable
It's
for
true.
now
It's true that.
until people forget about it.
I think Alchemist is back, by the way, so we will have him be ready in just a second here. We have